So, my name is Mark Parker Magyar. Is this on? Can we hear me? Solid. I work with New Jersey Working Families Alliance. A terrible public speaker, so I'm unbelievably nervous, so bear with me. Did I just pog out of it? There we go. How'd we go? Which button do I click? There we go. So New Jersey Working Families Alliance, just a little background. We're a grassroots legislative advocacy and electoral organizing nonprofit. We focus on structural reform in pursuit of intersectional justice, and we're a chapter of the National Working Families Party. I don't think, we'll focus just on optimism. So, during Sue's speech, it was like, wow, we have the most corrupt system in America, which we honestly do. Like, this is this calcified, terrible, unbelievably misogynistic, racist structure that constantly passes bad policies for New Jerseyans and seems to mostly exist to make people rich. But we've actually had a good couple years. We have made some progress, both on the state and national level, that things are changing, that there is a progressive wave coming, and that despite how many different little tendrils, boss politicians in New Jersey like George Norcross have, all throughout our structure and our system, we are making progress. So New Jersey Working Families has been part of coalitions that have fought successfully in the last 3 years for $15 minimum wage, statewide paid sick leave, automatic voter registration, Governor Murphy's election. I worked for John Wisniewski. Governor Murphy is the most progressive governor we've probably had in New Jersey ever. I see you, Barry. I'm sorry, Barry. Feel the burn. And Governor Murphy's 2019 budget. Like, we had, under Chris Christie, 8 years of austerity budgets and austerity economics. Before that, we had Corzine. I mean, we've had 40 years of neoliberal austerity economics that basically channel wealth upwards. We finally started to raise some taxes in the past 2019 budget. We're going to focus on the budget fight upcoming. I hope to all see you all there. We have another millionaire's tax, estate tax. We got a lot of things. In terms of how this legislation and how we accomplish these victories in the last 3 years, nothing Working Families accomplishes we accomplish by ourselves. I see so many people in here who've been part of the different coalitions and the different fights that we've had. We met during the redistricting gerrymandering fight. Everything we accomplish is not because there's some monolithic progressive organization that accomplishes something in the shadows. It's because we all have to come together and work together. And the truth is, there are actually a lot of us. And when all of these different grassroots organizations, like South Jersey Women for Progressive Change, and where's Catherine Hunt? Catherine Hunt is literally everywhere. Yeah, hi, Catherine. Catherine Hunt is at every event. She's amazing. When we come together, they have to listen. So just to do a quick rundown on the $15 minimum wage, usually how these fights go is that Governor Murphy tends to take a more progressive position, and our state legislative leaders, including Steve Sweeney, who my dad works for, I know, we've got some ethical conversations we have at home. It's a phase. He's going to grow out of it. Usually how this happens is that Steve Sweeney takes a conservative position, despite maybe having, endorsed the legislation 2 years ago. The Assembly tends to sort of follow along, and then they end up introducing a bill that's basically the worst possible version of a $15 minimum wage. The original legislation they proposed was an $11 minimum wage by 2029. $11 when accounting for inflation. I'm sort of lying a bit, but still, the point is that they tried to pass a nominal $15 minimum wage, and then, we stopped them. Because the truth is that there were so many different grassroots groups, and we had Governor Murphy behind us, that we were able to stop them carving out 60% of New Jerseyans from getting a $15 minimum wage, which is insane. What Democratic legislators and majority, like Democratic Assembly and the Democratic majority, the Assembly and Senate, would say that they're trying to pass a $15 minimum wage and then promise to basically create a bill where they carve out 65% of people. This is who we're fighting. This is, some of this can be hyperbolic. I hear people say, I don't want to be criticizing other Democrats. The truth is that there's meaningful differences between Democrats. And I don't think that our Democratic state legislature right now represents very many people. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. So, reasons for optimism. I started to talk about these, but the simple truth is our agenda is popular. You look at national statistics and national polling when it comes to ending corruption, getting money out of politics, raising the wages for a middle class that hasn't seen a pay raise in 40 years, taxing the rich. I'm hoping for Eisenhower levels at 92%. That might be controversial. But we find that the majority of Americans support a top tax rate of 70%. Almost every one of these progressive agenda items is popular. Secondly, Democratic Party transformation. You can see this now. Hillary Clinton was also the most progressive candidate to basically get the Democratic nomination for president. Her policy and her platform, line by line, was progressive, and it was promising the type of intersectional economic and structural reform that we need to see as a country that's going to be the first multiracial democracy in the history of the world. The transformation's happening. When you see what Kamala Harris has introduced, when you see what Cory Booker has introduced in terms of the baby bonds and universal basic wealth, the ideas and the policies at the national level are changing, and the state democratic bosses that are controlling our system are falling behind. Demographic change. In New Jersey, this is a big deal. 60% of Democratic primary voters in the last 3 years are women. Sue had the nice graph of all of the county chairs, I think, 5 county chairs. And what do a lot of Steve Sweeney's staffers look like? What do a lot of basically our elected officials look like? They're all men, and they're all white men. And they're increasingly non-representative of both the state and the Democratic Party. We're going to be one of the first states to go majority-minority. I think we actually might be the first when it happens. At a certain point, I believe that the voter base is changing, that we'll no longer have these just like cadre of white men that make decisions that aren't representative of who the actual Democrats are. Finally, you and thousands of people like you. I love coming to these events because I always get to see like 7 or 8 or 10 close friends. Sorry, I should stop. But there's so many different organizations and activists and grassroots leaders that are all out here together. We have a lot of power. We just need to mobilize it. So on that note, I'm just going to do one more slide. We have 3 campaigns going on. There's the Restore Governance/Democracy Coalition. We are starting to talk about that. Sue Altman and South Jersey Women for Progressive Change are taking an active role in that. If you want to sign up for more details, there's also 2019 Democratic primaries. I know we said that the ballot gets you about 45% of the vote, but as you were saying in Camden, the ballot line works best when it's a low information election. If voters are informed and know what they're voting on, the ballot line doesn't matter as much, which is how Phil Murphy, despite spending $22 million and being a progressive good candidate, he didn't win 50% of the vote. That is crazy. That means that at least 70% of people, because you have to include all the people who wanted to vote for Murphy because they wanted to, like the vast majority of people came out to vote for a candidate and were informed in the gubernatorial primary. Like the assembly races that are happening right now are super low turnout. And so there's a huge opportunity to knock on doors at a fraction of the level of 2018 and inform all the voters of what's going on. There's also a list of progressive legislation we're working on. You can make a lot of change in the state legislature. You can make a lot of change in state government because not that many people matter. Not that many people pay attention, and legislators are afraid of their constituents. Thank you. It's amazing.